But let's say you want to start a business and you don't want to spend money, right? You want to start a business for free. That's what today's video is about. Now, there is no business that you can actually start legitimately for free. No, you would have to pay something. Either, even if you just credit that you put on your phone to call somebody, that's still an expense. So let me not use this clickbait title and say, oh, a business you can start for free. There is no business you can actually start for free. You will pay for maybe data or you pay for something, right? So yeah. Now, the only business that you can legitimately start for free, right, is one of two businesses: a service-based business or a digital product business. Now, a service-based business in the sense where you can just be a middleman. So let's say somebody wants to buy a wedding ring, okay? Somebody wants to buy a wedding ring and you have access to, I can't remember what this lady is, I think it's St. Tracy's, right? You have access to St. Tracy's, but that person doesn't have access to St. Tracy's. What you can do is you can be the middleman. So reach out to these people, ask them what they have, things like that, okay? Some of you might be wondering that, okay, why don't I just give this person, let's call the person Mr. Lagbaja, why don't I just tell Mr. Lagbaja that, oh, go and reach out to St. Tracy's or reach out to Buzz and see whether you can do business with them to buy a wedding ring, right? And that's a valid question. But let's imagine that Mr. Lagbaja is in Australia. So Mr. Lagbaja is in Australia and he doesn't want to buy something that is that important in his life. He doesn't want to buy it online. He wants somebody to go to the shop, see this ring, and then make a purchase, right? So that's where you come in, you and I. So you are me, I'm you, that sort of thing. Anyways, so Mr. Lagbaja comes to me. I go to St. Tracy's, Buzz. I take what they've sent me in terms of pictures, pricing, all of that. I send it to Mr. Lagbaja. Mr. Lagbaja says, oh, okay, I want this one. Okay, Mr. Lagbaja sends me the money. I go to St. Tracy's, I buy it, I look at the wedding ring. It's either you keep it for Mr. Lagbaja or you then ship it to Mr. Lagbaja. That whole process, you've actually started a business. That's something you can then begin to offer as a service. Now, who do this? So lobbyists, I mean, is that how you pronounce it? Yes. Lobbyists do it. Most people that call themselves contractors do it. If you run a dropshipping business, that's an example that you can actually do it. That sort of thing, right? So you get you get the drift. Now, I'm not going to talk about that type of business because sometimes you need social network to get that kind of business up and running. Social network is your friends, your family, your contacts, that sort of thing, to get that kind of business up and running. That's not what today's video is about. Today's video is focusing on the other type of business you can, in a way, start for free, which is a digital product business. So a digital product is basically anything that is passed across a digital medium that is not a physical product. Simple. Now, a digital product could be a phone call, which is strange. A lot of people don't expect that. But yeah, a digital product can be a phone call or a consultation call. A digital product can be an ebook. A digital product can be a set of templates. A digital product can be software, right? A digital product can be software. Digital products can be anything, right? But ideally, most people watching this video, the kind of digital products that you want to make are things like ebooks, templates, consultation calls, depending on your expertise or your industry, things like that. That's what we're going to look at, right? So the first thing I want you to understand is ask yourself, what do you want to sell? Now, when I say sell, there are typically two options. What knowledge do you have in your head that you can monetize, or what knowledge can you go and compile together and monetize? So there are two, basically there's knowledge involved and there are two things. And to be fair, with AI, this is easier, but at the same time also difficult. It's easier because you can easily compile information and create a very solid, strong digital product. That's why it's good. It's bad because the people that you're selling to can also use AI to find these things. So pros and cons. Anyways, let's start with the first one. So let's imagine you're monetizing your knowledge. Most fashion brands, they do photo shoots, right? They do photo shoots, they do video shoots, things like that. What I've seen working with some of these fashion brands, which pisses me off, is on the day that they get to the venue or the day of the photo shoot, they then begin to think of, oh, what should I shoot today? Or what angle should I shoot? you as a social content person, you probably understand the importance of a mood board. You understand the importance of having angles and shots ready to go, that sort of thing. Nothing is stopping you as well from creating a digital product that has this information that you can easily sell to businesses. Okay, now these are examples I'm using because of my proximity to these people. Right? So sorry, there's coffee here, so it's doing its job, let's call it that. Right? So that's how you monetize your knowledge. That's the first way. Now let's imagine that you can't monetize your knowledge because you don't have any knowledge, which means you've never done what you're trying to sell, that sort of thing. And the example I'm going to use here is to talk about investments, right? Investment banking, things like that. Okay, good. Now, one thing I want you to understand is when you're looking for knowledge to monetize, it needs to be relevant knowledge. Don't do lazy work here. Like I don't know how else to explain it to you. Just don't do lazy work. And what I mean by don't do lazy work is don't say you're going to look for a list of 20 investment platforms, how people can start investing, and then you want to sell that list. Please, you're selling a Google query. You're selling something that ChatGPT will answer in 3 seconds. Don't be lazy. Now, how do you want to find knowledge? So the best way to do this is find what's in demand first. There's a reason why I'm talking about investment banking, because nowadays a lot of Nigerians are beginning to pay attention to investing, especially millennials and Gen Z. Another thing is tax. So with the new tax law coming, that's also an issue. That's also a hot topic, let's call it that is happening in Nigeria at the moment. This is where you can easily find digital product ideas. This is where you can easily find knowledge to go and seek and create your digital products, right? And most times when it comes to creating digital products, here you want to probably create a very simple either ebook that people can easily digest, or you actually go a bit more technical and you create a faceless course. A faceless digital course or a faceless digital program, which is a short series, maybe 3 to 5 videos explaining each step of these new tax laws and how it affects businesses, that sort of thing, right? So those are 2 digital products that you can easily create, either when people want to start their personal investment journey or people want to start their, understanding how tax works and things like that. Now, when you are building this knowledge, you want to ask yourself the what, the why, the how, or the 5 whys. Now, what I mean by the what, the why, the how is, why is this important? So what is this? Why is it important? And how do I make sure that I can implement it in my business? That sort of thing, right? So that's the first one. The second one, that's how you create your digital product. The second one is the 5 whys. Basically, you ask the 5 whys to anything. It's something that I use and a lot of people use in my industry, where whatever question you ask me, I keep asking why. By the 5th why, we genuinely now know what the problem is most times. So the first question here is, why would somebody want this digital product? That's your first why. Then the next why. After you answer that question, what's the next why? So this person will want this digital product to understand. Here's an example here. I'm talking too fast. My YouTube voice and my real life voice sometimes are so strange. Anyways, you guys don't care about that. So the 5 whys. So the first why is, why would a business want to learn about tax in Nigeria? That's the first why, right? The second why is then going to be, so the answer to that first why would be because they want to learn how to pay for tax, or they want to learn how to not pay for tax. That's pretty much it. It's either, and that's the honest truth, it's this or that. let's tell ourselves the truth, me and you. Anyways, that's the answer to the first why. The next question will be, why do they want to start paying for tax, or why don't they want to pay for tax? By that time, you have an idea of what that digital product should look like. By the 5th why, you've already answered all the important questions that you then take to go and look for knowledge and understanding to create your digital product. So if you are creating an ebook, these are the outlines or the steps that go into your ebook. If you are creating a faceless program or a faceless course or something like that, these are the 5 whys that you're going to answer that go into that program and go into that digital product, that sort of thing, right? Now, so that's for monetizing your knowledge whether you have the knowledge already or you going to look for the knowledge, how you find it, that sort of thing, right? Good. That's the most important step. The next step, this is not so important, but how do you charge? Now, there are two ways to charge. I would strongly suggest you charge. So before we even talk about charging, it depends on who your target customer is. So there's something called the customer avatar exercise. I have a video that talks about that. It's a long video, but trust me, the idea is you watch it once, you do the exercise once, and you never do it again. Because in that video, I say like there's something you're going to do on a piece of paper. If you do it with your pen and paper, you would always have access to it, so you can easily read it. If you do it online or use your phone or do something like that, print it out and paste it in front of you, right? So yeah, you do the exercise once, and hopefully you don't do it again. Well, you update it. Anyways. So you understand your customer avatar. That's the first one. Once you understand your customer avatar, that will then show you how to price your product. Now, with digital products, your problem is AI. Let me just put it out there. Your problem is AI. And I say this because AI is going to obliterate. Is that the right word? It's just going to destroy your digital products. Like, give it time, give it 6 months, 1 year. The idea of whatever it is you're building as a digital product, AI is going to kick it out of the market, because AI is just going to make access to information simpler. And that's what your digital product is doing, providing access to information. There are other digital products like, creating an online community, bringing people together, having live events, things like that. But you don't even know whether this is the business that you want to scale up to that level. This is just supposed to be some small income or side income on the side, that sort of thing, right? Good. So first off, you need to understand how to price your digital products. Honestly, price it as cheap as possible. Price it as cheap as possible so that you can move volume. Move volume, and most likely understand that you move on to other things. Now, depending on how you do your digital product, what would happen is a lot of people that buy your digital product would contact you for other things. So either they will contact you for direct consulting, one-to-one coaching, or mentorship, like calling it in Nigeria. I don't know why you guys call it mentorship. It's not mentorship. Mentorship is different. What else again? So that's pretty much it. So when they buy your digital product, most likely give them like an upsell or a follow-up offer inside the digital product. Okay, good. Now, depending on how you want to do it. If, for example, you are I'm not going to go down there, because what I wanted to say was, if you are doing like personal coaching or an online community, do not make your digital product cheap. The reason why I say this is because people come into these communities and they expect you to perform miracles after them pay 5,000 naira. Makes no sense. I've seen it happen, and I've told myself that I'll never play in that space. Nah, because they don't live in the real world. They live in fantasy land. Anyways, you want to price your digital products, dare I say, below 10K. And I'm saying below 10K because you need to move volume. The idea here is you're starting this business for as cheap or as free as possible, right? You're not going to run ads, things like that. So price it below 10K, and always provide more value than what people pay for, right? And this is why I say this is because when you provide more value than what people pay for, what then happens is they then go ahead to go and help you with word of mouth and tell people about the product. So they help you promote and market the product, that sort of thing. Now, with digital products, here's one problem that you need to be aware of, and it just popped in my head right now. People might share what they bought with their friends. So their friends will not come and buy from you. They can share it with their friends. It's annoying, it's gonna piss you off, but it is what it is. So One thing I noticed with Seller is certain digital products, you can't download it. You can only read it when you have the account. Now, that's fantastic. But you need to understand that, sadly, that's also going to deter some people away from your digital products. Just FYI, right? So yeah, I think another thing you need to be aware of is, depending on what digital products you create, and again, it depends. If you're monetizing your knowledge, or you're what's it called now, or you're not seeking for knowledge, you don't have to do it as yourself. This YouTube channel is Damini Williams, my personal brand. Okay, good. You don't have to do it this way. You don't have to. The good thing is, putting my face, there's almost like a risk I'm willing to take if what I'm promoting or what I'm talking about doesn't work. If you don't want to take that risk, you don't need to. You can create a business, you can register yourself as a business name or an LLC. That's a story for another day. And then promote the products that you have created along that path. You don't need to use your personal brand. There's a lot of like AI tools now, like HeyGen, 11 Labs. There's another one that I can't remember the name right now. I think it's Top View AI or something. There's so many tools you can use these days to create a lot of custom content without showing your face. Okay, so yeah, those are things you want to leverage. Now, when it comes to these digital products, like I said, one of the most important things is your customer avatar. It's a video that I just posted a few days ago. That video also is a bit of this format, raw, unedited.